Each week we do this. Khang comes up with a bunch of questions. Doug and I typically will go back and forth on it. We flip a coin and we go at it, but there's no Doug this week.
So I will choose to kick off to you.
Okay.
After every question.
I will receive.
All right. You have no choice.
Yes.
There we go. It's like when the refs in the Steelers game, they just made whoever kicked off and received that on their own. They picked. Didn't matter what Jerome Bettis said. All right. Question number 1.
It's a tails. It's heads. That's a tail.
Gator, we have a 6th new Super Bowl favorite again. Who in your mind is currently the Super Bowl favorite?
All right. This is really tough. Obviously, because it keeps changing week to week.
Yeah. Right now it's the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, and I've got a bias against Seattle because of Sam Darnold, their quarterback. I don't think he's. I think he's played well for Seattle, but I don't think he's a good enough quarterback to get things done. And yet, it's hard to say no to Seattle. They have a top 5. I think they have a top 3 offense and defense. Like statistically, they're very good. But I'm not going with them because I'm going to continue to show that bias. And I will say this: I'm going with the New England Patriots. They also have a top 5 offense and defense in terms of points allowed and points scored. They're awfully well coached. Really like the head coach there. Solid running game with a couple of different running backs they can throw at you. They throw the ball downfield. Drake May has been outstanding throwing the ball downfield. I think his yards per attempt leads the NFL. He has gotten nothing but better and better and better as the season goes on, and just his sophomore season in the National Football League. And what it comes down to is I trust Drake May more than I trust Sam Darnold. The Patriots are healthy. They got that great balance. I'm going with the Patriots.
You know what, Gator? You might not be wrong about that. I also have chosen an AFC team with a young quarterback. Not the Patriots, though. I'm going with the Denver Broncos. I like Bo Nix and Sean Payton. That combo seems to work really well together. Bo Nix, when a play breaks down, he's clearly mobile. He runs around. He could take off with it, or he can still throw it. I like R.J. Harvey in the backfield, a young running back. They got Sutton on the outside. And then I mentioned for the last part, it's maybe the most important part for this team is their defense is shut down. Love that defense. They get after you. I feel like I'm definitely rooting for the AFC this year, by the way, because of our Lions are not in the NFC contention at all. But I think the Broncos should be the favorite. I don't trust Sam Darnold in a big situation either, and I cannot say the Rams and Stafford. I just can't do it. All right. The winner of the 49ers-Seahawks game will get the number 1 seed this weekend, a first-round bye, and home field advantage. The loser becomes the 5 seed and goes on the road. Should the NFL change the way they seed the playoffs after the regular season?
I think they should, and this is a bit of a cop-out because it's one of the things that it bothers me when people call into the show and they're very critical of something, and then they don't have an alternative. And then they'll say, well, it's not my job to come up with the alternative. But I'm kind of falling on that sword. Yeah, I think something has to change, but I don't necessarily have the answer what has to change. My biggest pet peeve with this whole thing is when you've got a runner-up to a division, which could be one of the teams in the West is going to be awfully good, and they're going to have to play on the road. And you've got a division leader, which could be Tampa Bay, could be Carolina, might win the division with, is it 8 wins? I think that could win the division if Tampa loses. So you have such a disparity there. You could have a disparity by like 4 wins. Like it happened last year with the Vikings. Vikings were a 14-win team last year. And, they were in the same situation. So I do think something has to change. I don't have the answer what should, but I think something has to be done where you look at the disparity of wins between the second team with the most wins in the division or in the conference, if it's another division foe there, versus how few wins a division winner has, like what's going on in the NFC South.
Well, I do have the answer, Gator. I think it should change, and the answer is very simple. You just reseed it by record. Now, if you win your division, I don't care what your record is, whether it's 8-9 or 9-8, you definitely deserve a playoff spot. You should still get that playoff spot, but I don't think you should host a game like they have right now. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers might host a playoff game if they win their division at 8-9, and I don't think that's right. I think they should make the playoffs, but they should be the last seed. I think the best overall record in the conference, of course, should get the first round bye, the 1 seed home field advantage. And then after that, I think you go by record. That's just my opinion, because I think when you have a team that finishes with 14 wins, or 15 wins even, they deserve, I think, if they didn't win their division, I think they still deserve to host a playoff game. But that's not the way we currently have it, but I do think it should change. All right, did the Raiders make the right call in shutting down Max Crosby for the year and putting him on IR?
This is a tough one, but here's where I'm going to go with this one. I don't think they made the right call. I think you've got a star player like Max Crosby. I think you let Max Crosby make up his decision here. Now, I know in some cases you got to protect the player from the player, but Max Crosby has been playing with an injury for the last, I think, since week 7. He's been dealing with it, and he says he's fine, he's ready to go, and he wants to play. Let him play. All right, I get that you want to protect him and keep him healthy, and let's get ready for next season and all that, but the guy wants to play. And my big problem is that when you've got a player like this who's the franchise player, you risk losing him. And right now, what they have with the Raiders is just a complete S show. There are rumors that Pete Carroll isn't going to come back. The franchise is awful. They continue to make big mistake after big mistake, whether it's draft picks, free agency with the quarterback they bring on, the head coach that they've got. It's just big mistake after big mistake. So I'm going to say this is another big mistake that they're making.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, Gator. I understand from an organizational point of view, you're trying to maybe play for a better draft pick. I get it. And also, you don't want to risk injury to one of your best players, if not your best player. With that being said, though, I think you got to keep your best player happy as well, and especially one that wants to play. I think that's important. Max Crosby doesn't want to shut it down, and I think that's a good mentality to have, especially from one of your leaders and best players on the team. So I think shutting him down and getting him upset was a bad move. You don't want this guy checked out. You don't want him asking for a trade. I know they just signed him an extension, but that doesn't mean he can't ask for a trade again, He wants to play, and that's a really important thing, I think, from one of your leaders, like I said. I think it was a mistake. I think you let him go out there, earn his paycheck, and you can't be playing in fear of just getting injured all the time, especially when a guy really, really wants to play. You let him play. All right, will Sunday be the last game for Aaron Rodgers?
Well, it should be. It should be. He's, the wrong side of 40 here. He can still play, but how many situations are really going to be beneficial to him? Because it feels like he's a guy that's going to have to go to a team that has all those weapons ready to go. The Steelers aren't going anywhere. They beat the Lions to continue that winning season for Mike Tomlin, and then they go ahead and lose to Cleveland. So I don't know if the Steelers are going anywhere as a franchise. I don't know if there are other teams that are built for success to step in right away and lead. So it sounds to me, Khang, that he's going to be a Raider.
So
continue to make those bad decisions.
So you're saying no, it won't be his last game?
No, I think he'll end up playing.
Okay, but also, they could still win this weekend, and he could continue to play the following weekend. So I don't know if you predicted that at all. I say they're going to lose, and this will be his last game. I think he's going to ride off in the sunset. And I know people don't believe him, and he says he's going to disappear. I really think he's going to go to like a decade-long darkness retreat. And I don't think that we're going to hear from him. I don't think, unless people go after him like TMZ or paparazzi, I don't think he wants to be out there anymore. I don't think he'll be doing the McAfee show and all that stuff. I really think he's going to go away after this, and I think they lose Sunday, and it's the end of Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's cute that you think he doesn't want to be out in the public anymore.
Yeah, I think it's done. I believe him.
Okay.
I believe him, man.
All right.
He's married now, so he's got to listen to whatever his wife tells him to do. So it's a different one.
Yeah.
3 players might play their 18th game this year because they have been traded, and they didn't get a bye week. Should they get extra money?
Absolutely, they should get extra money. The league should be the one that pays them, not the team that pays them the extra. It's another game for them. 18 games, man. It's putting your career on the line for another game simply because you got traded from one team to the next. I absolutely think that they should get paid. The league is brutal. Players get paid to make the playoffs. That's an extra game. So I think it would be a great idea to go ahead and let them get paid an extra paycheck here.
All right, so I got yes as well. The problem is I don't know how to pay them. I don't know how this works. Obviously, their contracts are just for the season. I don't, I know they get game checks, but I don't. If they're playing an extra game because you're only really paid for 17 games, even though you're paid 18 weeks. They should get more money. I just don't know how they could do this. But, yeah, that's
why I say I think the league should be the one to pay them, not the team that traded for them or whatever.
I don't know.
Make the league do it. The league's making plenty of money. They can afford to give a guy an extra $100,000.
Yeah, I'm sure the agents can somehow figure this out, but I don't know how it works.
I don't know. Sure they can.
You know what I mean? So let them figure it out. But, yeah, I'm surprised no one has it already, to be honest with you. All right, for the second consecutive year, Eli Manning is a finalist for the NFL Hall of Fame. Should he finally get in this year?
Yeah, I think he should. I mean, it just things that stand out to you. 2 Super Bowl wins, top 10 in career yards and career touchdown passes. It's not a slam dunk by any means, but those are pretty gaudy credentials before you start to tear him down as a candidate when you look at all the other things that could take him down those notches. In the end, those 3 things mean too much. Top 10 career passing yards, top 10 career touchdown passes, and the 2 Super Bowl wins. It's not just one, it's a fluke. He's part of 2 championships.
To me, it's definitely the last part of that, Gator. Imagine being a musical artist. I know you love music, right? And you only had 2 hits, like 2 hits. But those 2 hits were Beat It and Thriller. Like, they were like the greatest 2 hits of all time. He beat the Patriots twice. He ended their undefeated season. And then you throw in the other stuff, the longevity, and then, whatever the stats are, the yards and touchdowns. Okay, fine. That just adds on to it. But those 2 hits are huge. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame just because of those. You want to do one more?
Yes.
All right, last one. Who's got more pressure this week? The Bills not to give up an interception to the Jets, or the Bengals not to give up the sack record to Myles Garrett?
I think it's the Bengals. I think the interception record, it's already owned by the Jets. They already have that record. They're just adding to it each and every week, and it would be interesting. It's an entire season that they go without an interception on a 17-game schedule, but they're just adding to it. With Myles Garrett, here's where it's a little bit of an edge, but I'm going to take it away right here, where I was saying he gets an extra game to try to get that sack record that Strahan did in 16 games. He's getting a 17-game season to do it. However, he could go off and have himself a game against Cincinnati. The Bengals' offensive line is horrific. I could see Myles Garrett having like 3 or 4 sacks in this game and just obliterating the record, and I think that'd be pretty impressive.
Just putting it out of reach, right? Yeah, I think the more pressure is on the Bills and Josh Allen. You cannot throw an interception. I don't care if it's by a tip ball or whatever. If that ball's in the air and you're an offensive player for the Bills and you don't have a chance at it, you tackle the defender that's by you. You do not let anyone else on the other team catch the ball. OPI all day if you have to. The Jets should go down in history as going through not just an entire 16-game season, but an entire 17-game season without an interception. Unbelievable.
Is Josh Allen going to play?
I don't know. Whoever's that quarterback, hand it off all day long.
It's just interesting to see what's left to play for the Bills. Well, we'll check it out. And that'll do it for the Wide 9 Omaha 4 down around the lead blitz thingy. We'll get into the Lions next on 97.1.